You've been told the wrong thing about attraction your entire life. You were told it's about looks, height, money, clever lines. You were told to be nice, to be available, to perform like a trained seal for a pat on the head and a polite rejection. Here's the truth most men never hear. A woman's decision about who she sleeps with is written long before the moment it happens. It's not random. It's not chaotic. It's a pattern in her nervous system, a calculus of safety, desire, timing, identity, and leadership. And when you understand those levers and pull them with integrity, you stop begging for affection and start moving like a man women quietly choose. Tonight I'm going to hand you the map. 7 reasons that determine who a woman sleeps with. Not tricks, not manipulation. The real forces that shape her choice. Listen carefully, because when this clicks, you will feel the pressure drop from your chest. You'll stop chasing validation and start embodying something rarer. Masculine presence that turns a maybe into a yes without forcing anything, without violating anything, because you finally learn to meet her where the decision is truly made. Let's set the frame. Attraction is a biological reaction amplified by psychology and filtered through context. She does not read your resume. She reads your nervous system. She doesn't measure your words. She measures the effect your presence has on her body. Does her breath slow next to you? Do her shoulders drop because she trusts you? Does her mind race with possibility because your energy is unapologetically directed and clean? Or does she feel a static hum of anxiety around you because you need her to approve you? You can't fake this for long. Women live in a world where misreading a man has consequences, so their calibration is brutal and fast. If you're wondering why she suddenly lost interest, she didn't. She simply got the data she needed. The 7 reasons you're about to master are the data streams she uses to decide. Learn them, live them, and watch how luck starts to look suspiciously like intention. Reason 1, her nervous system feels safe with you. Not bored, safe. There's a difference. Safety is not being a doormat who agrees with everything. That's dull, and dull dies. Safety is the calm, grounded steadiness that says, I am not a threat to your body or your reputation, and I can hold the intensity of attraction without losing myself. Women test for this constantly. They watch your eyes when a waiter messes up. They notice if you breathe through small frustrations or if your tone sharpens. They notice if you can say no without flinching or becoming apologetic. They notice whether you listen to understand or listen to reply. They notice if you hurry to fill silence because you fear it will expose you. The signals of safety are simple but rare. An even pace when you speak, shoulders loose instead of braced, a slow blink instead of darting eyes, palms occasionally open, a voice that doesn't rise at the end of statements as if you're asking for permission. You can fake any one of these for 30 seconds. You cannot fake the nervous system they emerge from. Practice it. When she speaks, let your breath drop into your belly. Pause a beat before responding. Let your eyes soften, not glaze over. Don't lunge to agree or to impress. That's a threat signal to her body. Neediness always is. And when escalation becomes relevant, safety becomes structure. You lead, but you continuously give her exits. Let me know if you want to slow down. Tell me if you're not comfortable. You don't ask for consent like a legal checkbox. You create a climate where her yes becomes easy because her no would be respected. That is the kind of safety that makes desire safe to feel. Reason 2. She feels desired by you, not evaluated. Every attractive woman has met the guy who stares at her like a problem to solve or a trophy to win. He scans her face for signs he's doing well. He's trapped in internal scoring. That gaze makes her shrink. Real desire is clean. It is not thirsty or pleading. It's not disguised as a joke or a performance. It's specific, unhurried, and unapologetic. When you look at her, you're not looking for permission. You're appreciating. You're not scanning to see what you can get. You're savoring what is in front of you. Tell her what moves you in a way that lands as attention, not as an invoice. The way you answered that question, sharp and graceful. I like it. Or, there's a very relaxed confidence in how you hold eye contact. See the person, not the category. This is where many men get it wrong. They either drown her in generic compliments or withhold completely to look aloof. Both positions are fear. Clean desire is a line in your body, from your chest to your eyes, that says, I see you. I'm here. I'm not trying to possess you. I'm letting myself be moved by you. Hold the eye contact half a second longer than is comfortable. Don't smile to soften it every time. Breathe. Let the intensity be there without fidgeting. If she fidgets, don't rescue her from the feeling with humor every time. Sometimes the chemistry needs the silence to stretch. Desire is a pressure. When it's clean, it draws her forward. Reason 3. Pre-selection and status signals. Subtle, not flashy. We are social animals. Women, more than men, are exquisitely tuned to social proof because it is efficient. If other women smile around you, if female friends speak well of you, if you move through a space like you belong, her brain relaxes into curiosity instead of defense. This is not about peacocking or name-dropping. It's about cues that you are already chosen somewhere in your life. Notice the difference. A man who has to tell you he's important lacks it. A man who carries himself like he is at home in the world radiates it. Learn names at places you frequent. A simple, "Hey Anna, good to see you," at a cafe does more for your perceived status than a flex bank account. Keep your relationships with women clean. If your ex speaks of you as respectful and steady, that reputation compounds. Be warm with staff. Be generous without broadcasting it. Speak in statements more than questions in social settings and take responsibility for small logistics. Ordering water for the table, finding an extra chair. Pre-selection is also visible in your boundaries. If you can gracefully decline an invitation or a drink without fidgeting, she reads abundance. It sounds like, "I'm good with water tonight, thanks." No speech, no apology. Status in this context is not dominance over others. It's mastery over yourself. She wants to sense that other women have vetted you, that men trust you, and that you don't need her to correct a void in your life. When you carry that, you move from, "Is he safe?" to, "What would it feel like to be chosen by him?" Reason 4. Leadership of momentum and logistics. This is where outcomes are won or lost without anyone noticing. Attraction dies in friction. If she has to mother your decisions, if she has to ask, "So, what are we doing?" The erotic current short circuits. You are the conductor of momentum. Not a tyrant, a conductor. You remove obstacles in advance. You propose, and then you hold the frame. Let's meet at 7:15 at the Little Wine Bar on 4th. Low noise, actually good lighting. If you're feeling it after, there's a spot around the corner with live jazz. 2-step plan. Simple. If she suggests a change, you adapt without losing structure. Got it. If 7:15 is tight, we can do 7:45. I'll grab a corner table. Notice you didn't ask her to plan. You created a glide path. Leadership also shows in micro decisions. Choose the table with better acoustics. Seat her facing the room so she feels oriented. Ask the server for one small thing that improves the experience. When it's time to move, you move. Walk with me. It's 2 minutes and you'll love the vibe. If she hesitates, you don't pressure, you mirror. We can stay, no rush. Logistics includes the after plan. Attraction can be high, but if the path to intimacy is awkward or ambiguous, hesitation fills the gap. You handle transportation, so returning is easy. You don't drink past your judgment. You make sure she has an easy exit, because the paradox is real. The easier it is for her to leave, the easier it becomes for her to stay. Leadership of momentum is not manipulation. It's masculine care. You're saying, "I've got the details," so you can relax into the experience. Reason 5. Mastery of polarity and tension. Masculine and feminine are not political categories. They are energetic poles. Polarity is not about acting alpha. It's the charge created when you stay grounded, directional, and attuned while she relaxes, expresses, and feels. If you collapse into her emotions, the charge dies. If you bulldoze over them, trust dies. Tension is the quiet electricity that accumulates when you don't rush to resolve every moment. It's proximity without grabbing. It's the pause before the kiss where both of you are held at the edge. You create it by being unhurried. Slow your gestures by 20%. Lower your voice by half an inch. Hold eye contact, then glance at her mouth, then back to her eyes. If she leans forward, don't devour. Let her come to you for a beat. Learn the 90-10 law of escalation. You move 90% of the distance and stop. You let her cross the last 10. If she doesn't, you didn't miss. You listened. Pull back slightly, return to conversation, smile as if nothing happened. You are not afraid to risk the moment by slowing it down. That is what makes it magnetic. Push-pull exists here too, but cleanly. You're intriguing, and I'm not easy to impress. It's warmth with a standard. Sneak in micro-challenges that invite her feminine expression. Convince me you actually like jazz and this isn't a phase. You're not mocking, you're playing, you're inviting movement. Tension also requires sensitivity to her cues. If her breath shortens in a stressed way, if her laughter becomes brittle, if her gaze keeps darting to the door, you miscalibrate it. You ease. You change pace. You address reality with a steady smile. Let's slow this down. I want this to feel good for you. Polarity without attunement is predatory. Attunement without polarity is platonic. You are mastering both. Reason 6. Identity elevation. She likes who she is around you. People choose experiences that reinforce the story they want to believe about themselves. A woman may find you attractive, but she will not choose intimacy if doing so would make her like herself less. This is where your standard becomes a gift. You show her a reflection that is both honest and affirming. You don't flatter, you excavate. Ask questions no one asks. What's the project you've been low-key obsessed with that you haven't told anyone about? When you're proud of yourself, what are you doing differently? Then actually listen. Pull threads. Mirror her strengths back to her with precision. So you like to be the glue, things function better when you're there. Or, you're sharper than you let on. You hide it because you're polite. When you do this, you change the air. She feels seen. She feels bigger. She becomes a more interesting version of herself in your company. That alters the calculus of intimacy, because sex becomes not just pleasure, but identity alignment. You also set the tone with your own story, not boasting, but owning your mission with clarity. A man on a path invites a woman into a chapter, not into a void. Share the edges you're sharpening. I'm redesigning my training, rebuilding my focus from the ground up this quarter. I'm saying no to low-quality invitations. Purpose is attractive because it offers a direction that does not orbit her. It relieves pressure. It allows her to step into your world without carrying you. Most men try to impress with what they've accumulated. You impress by revealing where you're going and who you're becoming. That's identity gravity. She chooses the man who elevates her taste in herself. Reason 7. Standards, boundaries, and non-attachment. Paradoxically, the men women sleep with are not the men who chase hardest. They're the men who can walk away. Not as a tactic, as a truth. You are fully open to connection and fully sovereign without it. You don't punish a no. You don't sulk. You remain warm, stable, and oriented to your life. That's the kind of abundance that whispers safety and value at the same time. Standards are not rules you weaponize. They're the ways you protect your energy. Speak them not as decrees, but as facts. I don't stay where the energy is chaotic. I leave early. I don't text past midnight. My mornings matter. I don't drink more than 2 if I want to feel sharp. Say them like you say your name. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference. It's presence without grasping. If she cancels last minute, you don't run a script on her. You reply, "No worries. Let me know a day you can keep." Then you go on with your day, because your day is real. If she returns later and the standard is still unmet, you enforce it without anger. We'll skip this one. That's not punishment. That's self-respect. Women test men for this relentlessly, often unconsciously. They need to know that a yes to you won't spiral into a clingy claim on their freedom. They need to know you won't collapse into them and demand they manage your emotions. Sexual integrity is part of this. You protect both of you. You plan for contraception without awkwardness. You don't gossip. You handle the morning after like a man. Present. Warm. Not evasive. You message her because you want to, not because you were taught to wait. You can hold closeness without making it a contract. That's the energy women select for over and over, even when their words say something else. Let's thread these 7 into tactics you can use tonight, because theory without practice is just a nicer failure. Before the date, regulate your nervous system. 10 slow breaths with long exhales until your face softens and your shoulders drop. Choose clothes that fit, not clothes that scream. If you're going to wear fragrance, 1 well-placed spray, clean and deliberate. Text the plan in statements: time, place, why it's good. Arrive early enough to choose the environment. Low noise, good lighting, comfortable seating. Learn your server's name. Decide where she sits and where you sit to optimize ease. When she arrives, stand, steady eye contact, genuine half smile. Let your gaze take her in, then settle on her eyes. You look relaxed. Good. Take the lead on first orders. Start with sparkling water and something small to taste. Do you have any food allergies? That last line signals care and competence. In conversation, ask real questions and dig one layer deeper than most do. If she says, "I work in marketing," don't say, "Cool." Say, "What part lights you up and what part drains you?" Listen. Hold silence when appropriate. Don't jump to perform. Sprinkle presence checks without being a therapist. How are you feeling here? If you sense openness, let clean desire through. I like that you don't rush your words. It's grounding. Watch her response. If she leans forward, escalate proximity slightly. Forearm on the table, knees angled toward her, voice lower. If she leans back or looks away, you ease. You don't chase in the moment. You let the space breathe. As you move between venues or into a quieter environment, maintain leadership but keep choices open. Let's get some air. There's a spot 2 blocks down. If it's time to escalate physically, follow the 90-10. Move close enough that your arm brushes hers. Pause. Read. If she meets you with softness, eye contact that lingers, breathing that deepens, body that stays, lift a hand slowly to her cheek or the back of her neck and stop. Let her close the last distance. If she doesn't, it's information, not a wound. You smile like a man who can hold his center and keep enjoying the night. If you do kiss, be present enough to notice when to slow and when to intensify. Always be the first to breathe and pull back slightly. That restraint builds trust faster than any line. When departure approaches, you don't bluff. You offer clarity. "I've had a genuinely good time. I want to see you again." If it's right to invite her back, do it without pressure and with structure. "I'm heading back to mine for a nightcap and to play you that record we talked about. No pressure at all. If you're up for it, I'll make sure you get home comfortably." You don't try to sell it. You don't diminish your intent. If she says no, your energy does not collapse. All good. Next time. You call her car if needed. You walk her to it. You don't beg for validation at the door. The next day, you text like a man who enjoyed himself. "You were trouble in the best way. Wednesday or Friday works for me. Choose one." That is leadership plus choice. She feels both held and free. Now let's deepen a few nuances most men miss. Safety doesn't mean hiding your sexual energy. It means you can contain it without leaking it nervously into every sentence. Practice being with your own desire without acting on it immediately. Sit in it. Breathe through it. The man who can feel his attraction fully and remain calm is rare, and rare is irresistible. Pre-selection doesn't mean being surrounded by admirers. It means being situated. If you are isolated from men and women alike, your energy goes weird. Join environments where you contribute, a training group, a volunteer project, a creative class. Let other human beings sharpen your social instincts. Logistics isn't about tricking someone into intimacy. It's about removing friction so that whatever wants to happen can happen. Clarity is kind. Ambiguity breeds anxiety, and anxiety chokes desire. Polarity without warmth becomes a caricature. The hardest turn-on for many men is not dominance, it's tenderness. The moment you punctuate intensity with care, brushing hair from her face and asking, "That okay?" you become dangerous in the best sense. Identity elevation is not therapy, it's curiosity plus reflection. See her and tell her what you see in language that feels like a secret she told herself, but never out loud. Standards are lived, not performed. If you talk about your standards but abandon them the moment she tests them, you taught her that your word is theater. Hold your line, even when it costs you an opportunity, especially then. That's when your energy rewires quietly, permanently. You might ask, what if I do everything right and she still doesn't choose me? Then you did everything right, because you're not doing this to control an outcome. You're doing this to become a man who generates outcomes over time. Some nights the chemistry won't click. Some days your leadership will be too strong for someone who wants to manage you. Some moments you'll misread a cue and need to repair with a simple, "My bad." Then you breathe, you learn, and you return to your mission. The point is not to win every encounter. The point is to become the kind of presence that women remember and quietly circle back to. The irony is beautiful. The more you embody these 7 reasons as habits rather than tactics, the less you think about closing and the more doors open. Let me give you a week-long challenge to install this in your body, not just your mind. Day 1. Regulate. 3 times today, 5 minutes each, lengthen your exhale until your body settles. Memorize how grounded feels. Day 2. Logistics reps. Choose 2 spots in your city that you can always rely on. Comfortable lighting, great service, easy parking. Learn the names of 2 staff members. Day 3. Social proof. Have a genuine conversation with a woman you're not trying to date, barista, colleague, friend's friend, and practice offering a precise, non-flattering compliment. Day 4. Desire practice. In a low-stakes conversation with someone you find attractive, let your gaze rest. Then speak 1 sentence of appreciation without needing a response. Day 5. Polarity. Hold a beat of silence before you answer every question for an hour. Feel the tension rise and fall. Don't rush to fill it. Day 6. Identity reflection. Ask a friend a question that pulls depth. Mirror back what you heard cleanly. Day 7. Standards. Say no to 1 low-quality invitation and notice that the world didn't end. You'll feel your spine grow an inch. This is how you build the man who does not perform masculinity. He lives it. I want you to hear this last part like it's just you and me in a quiet room. Women are not a puzzle to solve. They are a reality to meet with strength, clarity, and care. If you walk this way, yes becomes inevitable not because you tricked anyone, but because you became the kind of man a woman can desire without regretting it. A woman's choice is her own. These 7 reasons honor that by aligning you with what her body and mind already trust: safety without boredom, desire without neediness, status without arrogance, leadership without control, tension without pressure, identity without performance, and standards without anger. If this resonated, do something with it. Choose 1 lever and train it this week. Then come back and choose another. If you want more like this, sharp, practical, and unfiltered, stay close to this channel. Subscribe because you're building a new baseline, not because the algorithm told you to. Drop a comment telling me which of the 7 you're committing to sharpen first. It will lock it in and help another man who needed to hear that he's not alone in this work. Share this with a friend who's ready to stop begging and start leading. And then go out into your life, unhurried and precise, and let your presence do what words never could.